Republican Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't understand how public education works here in the United States. And that is probably one of the least surprising things I've ever had to say, that Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't understand something. But here's what happened. During his address to the joint session of Congress on Wednesday evening, Joe Biden laid out his plan to provide free pre-K through 2 years community college for American citizens. So basically, from the time you're about 4 years old to up to 20 years old, education's free here in the United States, which, by the way, is almost the system we have in place now. Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't understand that. She tweeted out the following after the address. She said, "Federally funded school from age 3 to 20 doesn't sound like education. It sounds like indoctrination. All at your expense, by force, in the form of taxes." Oh dear God, do you people hear that? We may have to use our tax dollars to pay for education here in the United States suddenly, all because of Joe Biden? That's literally never happened before, right, Marjorie Taylor Greene? No, actually it has. That's the current system we have in place. And in fact, a lot of states, I know we do here in the state of Florida, we actually, the state, even Republican controlled, gives us free pre-K for our children. That's subsidized here in the state of Florida. So we actually don't have to pay for that. The only thing we don't get is the 2 years of free community college. So that would be the only change in this plan, not just here in Florida, but in a lot of states that also provide subsidies or free pre-K education for children. Because K through 12 at public schools across the country has always been free. Okay, we're literally talking about adding a total of 3 years, maybe in some cases 4, depending on the kid's age and how the pre-K breaks down. So basically 3 years additional to what we're already paying. K through 12 would become pre-K through AA degree. That's what we're talking about here. And again, it's only like this much different than what we're already doing. And it's not indoctrination, it's education. If you believe that educating children, that teaching them science and history and math is indoctrinating them into liberal values, then you need to reevaluate where your party stands on basic intelligence, because I'd assume that's somewhere you don't want to stand. This is a good plan. It could be much better, right? I mean, we need things like universal childcare, not just pre-K, childcare. We need universal publicly funded college, not just 2 years of community college, 4 years at a public university. That's what should be happening. Education should not come at an expense unless you want to go forward and get a specialized advanced degree. Sure. That's what makes those a little harder to get for some people. But I think we also need to increase the grant programs and scholarship programs so that more people who would easily be able to master a master's degree or perhaps go to law school or get a PhD, so that it would be easier for them to do so. It shouldn't just be the rich or people who are able to get student loans that they know they can pay off that should get these advanced degrees, but that's a conversation for another day. The point here is that Marjorie Taylor Greene's tweet shows that she doesn't know how public education works here in the United States, or she thinks her followers are so stupid that they don't know how public education works here in the United States. And I'm willing to bet it's a combination of the two. I'm willing to bet that she absolutely was unaware of how this system works. And even more of her followers also have no idea how it works too.